And what questions? Speak louder.
With regard to your Kanti Sutta that you were talking about.
What sutta?
Kanti Sutta, Samhita Nikaya 25. Can Bhante explain the very interesting bit that says if you are Dhamma desiring before you die, you can't die until you become a Sotapanna.
When a person understands the Dhamma, he has the Dhamma Chakku, vision of the Dhamma. He sees the Dhamma, he understands that. But his character has not changed because the wisdom has not matured. So it takes some time for him to continue practice. And continue practice means at least the 7 factors of the Ariyan Eightfold Path. And as he practices, slowly he listens to more Dhamma, and then he meditates, and then he practices Vipassana, and then the wisdom matures. So it may take a few years, and then the wisdom matures, he becomes a Sotapanna. The 3 factors fall off. And basically it means he has unshakable faith in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, and he has the 7 Ariyan precepts. But if he does not make any effort, even at the last moment, just before he dies, that wisdom will mature. Because when we are about to die, the body is becoming weaker and weaker and weaker, and the mind is becoming stronger and stronger. And we start to see things more clearly. Then the wisdom matures at the last moment, and then he turns to fruit.
Any more questions?
But I heard that jhanas are important to reach from Sotapanna to
Not Sotapanna. Second, the Gamin.
Yeah, to increase to become better. Jhanas are important. But how do you differentiate, or how do we differentiate whether from jhana 1, 2, 3, 4? Do we actually know that we actually have these jhanas?
Yes. But nowadays, sometimes people teach not from the suttas. Even meditation, people teach not from the suttas but from like Visuddhi Magga. So you find that the Sutta Jhana and the Visuddhi Magga Jhana is slightly different. So in the, according to the suttas, we practice, for example, Anapanasati. We watch our breath, keep watching our breath. And then when the mind wanders off, we pull it back again, that is called vitaka. Thought directed to your breath. It runs away, we pull it back again, that is vitaka. And we sustain it on the breath, that is called vichara. Thought sustained, keeping it on the breath. If it runs away, we use vitaka. And then we use vichara to stay with the breath. And if we have the good karma, you are able to do that. And you keep doing that longer and longer, slowly the mind starts to focus. When the mind starts to focus, 3 other things arise together. Ekagata is one-pointedness. Piti is sukha. Piti is delight. And sukha is bliss. So you find bliss arising because your mind is not scattered. Normally our mind is very scattered. So tongue, side, thinking west, thinking east. So when our mind is becoming focused, it's not scattered, and then the mind begins to gather strength, and then you feel very blissful. So that gives you the inspiration to continue to practice. But normally, because a person has attained this, when these 5 factors are present, it is known as jhana. But if you are new, these 5 factors, when they come together and then you are delighted, you get so excited, it disappears. Then when you keep practicing, if you are greedy for it, then it won't come. So you have to not desire it too much. Sometimes we practice too hard, we don't get enough sleep, also cannot. So if you are able to sustain these 5 factors and become stronger and stronger, then it can last longer and longer. Then you can say it can come together for 1 hour like that, then you are sure you have attained the first jhana. Then if you want to go into the second jhana, you have to let go. You have to cultivate this first jhana until it's strong. When your first jhana is strong, then your piti and your sukha, your delight and your bliss is strong. Then if it's strong enough, you can let go. You can not pay attention to the breath and pay attention to piti and sukha. When you pay attention to piti and sukha, then you absorb into piti and sukha. Then you find the mind becomes even stronger. In the Hindu tradition, they say you feel as though the energy from the solar coming into your head. But it's not really from outside, it's from inside. So that is the second jhana, and you proceed in that way, according to the suttas. Third jhana, you let go of the bodily pleasure. And then the 4th jhana, even the mental pleasure also you let go. And then you become equanimous. But these jhanas are very hard to attain. You attain them also very easy to lose it.
One day, I've heard someone mentioned before that if you want to practice vipassana, it is recommended that you attain the highest, the 3rd jhanas. Because once you reach the 4th jhana, your mind will reach a stage of ekaggata, one-pointedness. And when the mind is one-pointedness, it is not conducive to see things as they arise. See the mental and physical processes as arise. What do you say about this?
Sometimes certain monks, sometimes famous monks especially, they say certain things and people believe them because they are famous monks. But the Buddha said in the suttas that in the future there will be famous monks who have a large gathering of disciples, who are very learned, who are very senior. Even such monks can have wrong view. This is in the Anguttara Nikaya. Now in these suttas, the Buddha said that when a person attains the 4th jhana, the mind becomes so clear, so strong and clear that a light is emitted. And this light pervades the whole body. Pervades the whole body from the top of the head down to his toes. The whole body is emitting light. And when he comes out of that jhana, the Buddha said, when he walks, it's like walking in heaven. When he sits, he's like sitting in heaven. When he lies down, it's like lying in heaven, etc. And the Buddha also said, after he has attained the 4th jhana, all the elements, countless elements, become clear to him. He will know whatever he wants to know. That's why the Buddha said in the suttas, after he has attained the fourth jhana, if he inclines his mind to know the past, he will know the past. If he inclines his mind to psychic powers, he can develop psychic powers. So like Jesus is somebody who must have attained the fourth jhana. He can walk on water. So that's why it's very dangerous. Not knowing the suttas, you can believe somebody saying something that is contradictory to the suttas. In the suttas, because the Anagamin and the Arahant has attained the fourth jhana, the Buddha says that they have Hasapanya and Javana Panya. Meaning, basically, sharp wisdom and profound wisdom. There's one sutta called the Parichataka, coral flower simile. The Buddha gave a simile of this heavenly coral flower blooming, stage by stage blooming. And the Buddha likened it to the blooming of wisdom. And then at a certain stage, the Buddha said, this is equivalent to the first jhana. And then further, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana. So in the suttas, you find the jhanas are stages of wisdom. That's why if you attain no jhana, at the most you can become a sotapanna. If you have attained first, second or third jhana, at the most you can become a sakadagami. If you have attained the fourth jhana, you can be an anagamin or arahant.
And how about the arupa jhana? Did the Buddha encourage his devotees to practice?
Yes, but arupa jhanas are not really necessary to become an arahant. The fourth rupa jhana is sufficient. But there are some monks who are able to develop rupa jhanas. The Buddha also encouraged them. Even cessation of perception and feeling, the Buddha encouraged them. Because once a person has attained cessation of perception and feeling, he goes into a state like unconscious. The consciousness stops. And the most, this can last 7 days. But when he comes out of that state, he will realize that the world did not exist when he was in that state. When the consciousness comes back, then he realized the world exists. So the world only exists in consciousness just like a dream. That's why when a person attains a state, cessation, and comes out of that state, he will automatically become an arahant. If not, an anagami. So don't say that samadhi is no use.
Just now, Longpa mentioned that there's liberation by wisdom and liberation by mind. But liberation by wisdom also requires jhana.
Yes.
So what's the difference? Is it the sequence? And also, Venerable Ananda, he didn't have jhana until much later, isn't it? So maybe elaborate a little bit on that.
The difference between liberation by wisdom and liberation by mind, or two ways liberated. From the suttas, it does not say clearly, but I see that the arahants who attain liberation by wisdom is like Reverend Sariputta. Reverend Sariputta had attained all the 4 rupa jhanas, all the 4 arupa jhanas, and even attained cessation. And then one day he was fanning the Buddha. The Buddha was talking to an external ascetic. He was fanning the Buddha about 2 weeks after he became the Buddha's disciple. And then just listening to what the Buddha was saying, he understood and he attained arahanthood. So that is liberation by wisdom. And then liberation by mind is like the Buddha. The Buddha, he meditated. And then using his meditation states of concentration, he contemplated his past lives, and then he remembered he was a disciple of Buddha Kassapa. And because he remembered he was a disciple of Buddha Kassapa, all the Dhamma that he learned came back. Otherwise, he had no Dhamma. So all the Dhamma came back to him. And then second watch, he contemplated beings dying and passing away. And then the third watch, he used the Dhamma, contemplated on the Dhamma and attained enlightenment. And the Buddha said he was liberated by wisdom. So the difference is one does not use the meditation, although he has the jhanas. At the moment of enlightenment, he did not use it. But the other one, he used it. That's why it's called liberated by wisdom and liberated by mind. Two is liberated.
Reverend, may I ask a very simple question? Just now you said that practitioner who have got the fourth jhana would have, developed light within themselves.
Develop what?
Light.
Yeah.
Can one who jhana experience light within him?
Can who?
Can a practitioner who has not attained jhana due to mental calmness experience light within his mind?
When we meditate, when the mind starts to concentrate, even people who have not attained jhana, when the mind starts to concentrate, they start to see light, they start to see colors, but it is not sustained. It comes and goes. But for the Arahant, it is sustained. Okay?
Another question. You thought of it one day.
Wait, I want to say something since they have no question. In the Samyutta Nikaya 56.19, the Buddha said, in this statement, this is the Ariyan truth of suffering. There are innumerable nuances, innumerable details, innumerable implications. That is for the Ariyan truth of suffering. Similarly, in this statement, this is the cause, this is the Ariyan truth of the cause of suffering. There are innumerable nuances, innumerable details, innumerable implications, etc. for the other Ariyan truths. So, in Dhamma, when we listen to the Dhamma, there are innumerable implications that we need to catch. That's why we find sometimes when we listen to the suttas, when we go through it the first time, we catch certain points. Certain other points we didn't catch. When you go through it the second time, you'll be surprised why I didn't see this before. It's so important. Now I see it. When you go through it the third time, again you catch some other thing which is important that you did not catch before. That's why we have to study or listen to the suttas again and again and again until we pass away. For example, there are some people who say, this venerable, he says, listen to the Dhamma can attain stream entry. So easy, how can? Maybe they say, Buddha speak can, Buddha got psychic power. Then the Buddha speak, people can attain. But I quote to you, I ask you, how did Sariputta and Moggallana attain stream entry? You remember now? I will tell you. One day, Sariputta was walking on the road, probably going on alms round. At that time, Sariputta was known by another name. I forgot his name. And he and Moggallana were disciples of Sanjaya, an external sect, ascetic teacher. So, Sariputta was walking on the road. He saw this Arahant, Asaji, one of the 5 disciples, one of the first 5 Arahants, So when he saw Venerable Asaji, he was taken aback because Venerable Asaji looks so different from other monks. That's what you see nowadays, awesome. So he went to Venerable Asaji and asked him, "Friend, whose disciple are you? What does your teacher teach? Please tell me." Then Venerable Asaji said, "I have newly come into this Dhamma," because he had just become a disciple, become an Arahant of the Buddha. So he said, "I don't know much, but little I can tell you." So Sariputta said, "Never mind, little or much, you please tell me." And then he said, in Chinese we say, "Chu fa yin yan shen, chu fa yin yan mian." Yeah. All dhammas arise from conditions and all dhammas cease through conditions. Just hearing these two sentences, Venerable Sariputta, because of his great wisdom, he understood and he attained stream entry. And then he thanked Venerable Asaji and he went off to tell Venerable Moggallana. And Venerable Moggallana saw him, also found that he looked different. And then he said the same thing to Venerable Moggallana. Venerable Moggallana also attained stream entry. Now, this incident, there are several implications. I don't know whether you have caught. When Venerable Asaji spoke to Venerable Sariputta, all dhammas arise from conditions, all the dhammas cease through conditions. It's not something the Buddha said. It is implied from the Buddha's teachings, but the Buddha did not say it exactly in those words. But he changed the words, but still the meaning was there, and yet somebody can attain stream entry. Secondly, the Buddha was not there. So the Buddha did not use his psychic powers. Thirdly, at that time, Venerable Sariputta had not met the Buddha at all. You don't need to meet the Buddha. You need to meet the Buddha's words, not his body. Yeah? Three implications. Yeah. Any more? Now, when Venerable Sariputta went to tell this to Venerable Moggallana, he attained stream entry. First, very important, a person who is a stream enterer can teach another person and he also can attain stream entry. You don't need an Arahant to teach you. Even a person with stream entry can teach you to attain stream entry. That's very important, right? Secondly, at that time, both of them were considered laymen, They were not bhikkhus yet, not monks. A layman can teach another layman, both can attain stream entry. That's why when we talk about the Sangha, there are two types of Sangha, monastic Sangha and Ariya Sangha. Monastic Sangha means the monks and the nuns. Yeah. Ariya Sangha means the Aryans, the 8 types of individuals. And it can be a monk, it can be a nun, it can be a layman, it can be a laywoman. So, this one also very important. So, the third one, implication, Venerable Sariputta definitely has no psychic power. Even after he became enlightened, with all his jhanas, he had no psychic power. He stated that very clearly. So, without psychic power, he just talked to Venerable Moggallana. Moggallana can attain stream entry. So, you don't need the Buddha, you don't need psychic powers, you don't even need a monk. See? Why I say Venerable Sariputta has no psychic power, because he and Venerable Sariputta and Moggallana, they were in the forest meditating, and then 2 yakas flew by, and one of them said, "These 2 are fake monks." Then the other yak Yaka told him, don't say that. This is a very powerful monk. They say he don't believe. He said, I'm going to bash him on the head. Then his friend told him, don't do that. He's a very, very, very holy monk. He went ahead. He bashed our Sariputta on the head. It was said the blow was so strong that he would have split a mountain. Then after that, immediately after that, he died and went to hell. Karma ripened so fast because he hit an Ariyan. So after that, Moggallana was worried. Came to ask Sariputta, are you okay? And Sariputta said, I'm okay, except I have a slight headache. And Moggallana said, just now I just saw this Yaka wallop you on the head, and you see you only got a slight headache, you could have split a mountain. Then he praised Sariputta. And whenever Sariputta praised him in return, he said, wow, you can see this Yaka giving me a blow. If there was a mud sprite, spirit in the mud in front of me also I cannot see. That shows he does not have any psychic power. Doesn't mean a person has jhanas or an Ariyan has psychic powers. In fact, we find in the suttas about one quarter of the Arahants have psychic power. 3/4 do not have. It's something due to past life. Like Venerable Moggallana in his past life, he had been Mara before. So you see, this kind of incident, you read through at once, you don't catch this implication. If I didn't tell you tonight, probably you didn't catch all these implications, that's why discussion of the Dhamma is so good. You learn from each other.
In the it says being a Sotapanna is as not that easy. It's like taking a hand, splitting it to 7, and Bhante in the Samyutta Nikaya, I think it's being a Sotapanna is not that easy. It says it's like taking a hand, splitting it into 7 parts, and poking it with the point of an arrow. So I think, does that mean, what does that mean?
It means there are not many intelligent people in the world. There is in the Digha Nikaya, Sutta 25, I think, Buddha was talking to Nirodha and external ascetics, and the Buddha said, let an intelligent man come to me, one who is honest, sincere, straightforward. I will teach him the Dhamma and he can understand. So the person has got to be intelligent, sincere, straightforward, and all that means he has sila, doesn't have remorse over something that he has done. That kind of person, because he's intelligent, he hears the right Dhamma, he can attain stream entry. But there's a lot of bodo around.
I think last question, because the Hindu temple has a close by 10:45, so we have to solve this in a short while. Last question.
Okay, I believe what we said just now, it has to do with the past life itself. You should have the means to something in you to carry on to this life, and there's a way to the beings that will ripen in the next life. And I believe, or what can you say?
Yeah, a lot to do with past life now.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we'll stop here.